UK for the UK team. They've got that BlizzCon slot under wraps. No one can contest them for it. The only thing that's up for grabs for them, the rest of this group stage, whether it's hit the first seed or the second seed. And we're looking long shot here, Des. Taking that first seed, very beneficial if you look at the competition they could face in the first round draw.
I mean, we may as well just say it outright. No team wants to get put into second place and have to potentially come up against South Korea. They want that first place spot to try and dodge away from that one, maybe evade the USA as well at the same time. So for the UK, anything counts for them here as well. Going into that final series against France, not only is it a chance to make sure they are as prepped as can be for that final series, it's a chance to send a message to say we are here to take everything. 5-0 or nothing.
Put the fear into him. Christopher rolling out literally with that wrecking ball to kick things off for the United Kingdom.
This is almost the dotes we were speaking about, where you run with this triple dive tank setup rather than playing for a front line. You just go all in into the back line and throw everything you've got in a couple of members, and hopefully manage to get a couple of kills. The nice thing here is with the environmentals around, the wrecking ball actually can play into that quite nicely.
He's come in with the power driver immediately to try and disrupt Italy, who've got that positional advantage on the point. Swinging round, he seems to have got the right angle, but can't complete the full 360 arch with the grappling hook. UK giving up the percentages. They have to move in to try and fight off Italy and make sure that they don't give over the first cap. No kills coming in, but people are going low. Bims being the first one to take out Kim, who's actually flexed onto the Winston to make this composition work, playing entirely off of roll. Italy got a positional advantage, got the man advantage, so will take that first cap. UK, whether they commit to this one is a different story, but the Transcendence has already been used by Boobox. They want to go in. They've conceded to Midna's Shatter, and the rest of the UK struggling to get that foothold.
Not really got the capability to stand toe-to-toe with this frontline. Ultimates are being thrown in by both sides. All the support ultimates coming out from the UK. They're even throwing in the Wrecking Ball and the Winston ult as well. There are the kills they were looking for.
Kib with the double monkey fist to push them off the map, and the zone denial from the minefield coming in from Christopher. It's going to be an easy cleanup for the UK. They threw a lot of ultimates into that. It was a questionable decision to keep the fight going, but they made it work, and they'll flip the point.
Imagine a world where Kib flexes onto Winston. Now, I know this guy has got a very flexible pull, but Winston wasn't really something we expected to see come out during this Paris World Cup group stage. For the UK there, it was all about hitting that critical mass of ultimates. The zone denial on the point coming out of the Wrecking Ball was so pivotal for forcing the space they needed. And you saw what happened when Kib got his ultimate online as well. Battled by the sound barrier, there was nothing to stop him.
They walked into a corridor of death there, the UK shutting down Italy. Meanwhile, I believe that's Carnifex who went onto the point to start to try and buy some time and potentially make the UK think twice, but Halfbeat is also going to jump off the map, go for a reset. UK overtaking Italy's percentage on this map.
Yeah, changing up a bit as well to match here. Italy bringing the Sombra out as a nice pick here. All that mobility on the side of the tanks of the United Kingdom. You get out a big EMP, you shut that down, you find them stuck there in hot water with no real way of escaping the damage that could come out of this composition. Although Italy have adapted slightly and brought their own dive tanks to the party too.
Is going to lock Christopher up out of that swing. Self-shot being sent to the back. They haven't got the shield, but they're able to stay alive throughout the damage. He's picking up a kill onto Bims as Christopher swings through. Taking out Nisa. Kib also going to get on the board with a double kill. Midna and Halfbeat feeling the burn of his primal rage, as Christopher will also get the D-Mecha with Dragon Eddy. And they decide to show him mercy and not stall him out too much. 65% and counting for the UK.
Very dominant. Once they were away from the point and there wasn't the environmental protection for Italy, the UK are just taking engages at their own leisure there, catching out the crucial frontline members, and really Italy still struggling to find a way to break open this defense.
Yeah, they're spawn camping Italy right now. The stealth destruct finding to get the D-Mech onto Dragon Eddy, who's getting the environmental on Halfbeat. Kib's popped the primal rage, and he's locking him up underneath the wing of their own helicarrier, just for a final kill to come in from Christopher. Midna, he's being cheeky, doing what he can. Will go for the reset rather than feed any more ult charge over. 90%, one final push if Italy is lucky on this map, Des.
He puts them in a very difficult situation. Although he got the contest coming down, he's been stalled out now. They're at 99%. Italy have got to take a 5 versus 6.
Midna's coming round, switched over to the Wrecking Ball. He's going to get there a lot faster than what we would be able to. Forcing out the overtime, Transcendence is there. Nisa keeping everyone topped up. Christopher just swinging from the rafters on that Wrecking Ball. The kills go in favor of UK. As the boot, it might be an environmental, but they're able to resist that natural flow of energy coming from Cruz. They're off the point. There's going to be a couple of people just stalling it out. It's definitely in favor of the UK. The kill feed is all coming up. Blue, no one else left in the area. That's going to be UK taking round 1.
And for all we've heard about it from the team's dive goats, these teams have taken to calling it. That's the first time we've really seen the UK put it out and use it to great effect as well. After that initial kind of scrap they had around the very start of the point, when Italy managed to get there first with the 3-3, everything went their way from there onwards.
Look at that triple kill coming out. It didn't show entirely for Christopher, because I believe, for Kib, sorry, I believe Christopher swung in there and managed to knock one of them. It made it look like Kib got that triple kill. Christopher getting on the board still. Fantastic use of the environment on Ilios and using those ultimates to their full effect.
And that's why it's nice to play Dota around this sort of setup, is that with all the environmentals in there, the displacement you have, whether it's the charge from the D.Va, whether it's the Wrecking Ball swinging, or the Primal Rage coming out of the Winston alongside Boops, there's just so many things you have to be aware of. The problem is, as said, it relies quite a lot on those ultimates being online for the area denial, for Winston to really have that ability to shove multiple members away, as you saw with the double kill. Outside of that is where you'll struggle, but beyond that, it's pretty much yours for the taking. They're rolling out the gate with it once again.
Gonna use Tracer Sombra to try and counter this Dota composition already. Mikey A soloing out Carnifex with the stun and Rocket Flare whip. Combination, Kib going on to Nisa. Already UK have that advantage, and they're probably going to get this first cap here as Kib is just getting more kills while he's jumping onto the back line of Italy.
Kib and Mikey A went for a full flank entirely by themselves there, left the other 4 members of the team to deal with the initial engage from Italy, while they basically went and chased down Bims to make sure he was not going to be alive, to provide that speed boost and the AoE healing that would be required for him to get onto and contest the point. Very, very solid from the UK so far. Going for a bit of a cheeky setup here as well off to the side, as you can see. They might just catch Italy unawares here.
The aggressive positioning was good from the UK. Now they're going to collapse onto Italy. Whether it pays them dividends is yet to be seen as Nisa takes Cruz out of the sky. Carnifex is there on the back line, but it's all going UK yet again. He's soloed out. He's going to use that translocator to get himself back into a safe position, but the rest of his team is already dead. A hack is really just a party gift as Italy goes for the reset.
It's been a long contested question of who you play Wrecking Ball with, whether you sub him out in place of the Winston or the D.Va. Clearly, in this kind of composition, the answer is neither.
Why not all three?
We'll take all 3. And this is one of the things that when he first got announced, everyone was like, well, we expect maybe to see him playing a dive-based comp with this. We didn't see it for a long time, but now it's finally starting to happen. You can see the effects of it as they actually completely push Italy back in towards their spawn doors.
There's just so much aggression coming out from the UK roster. Italy are unable to get anything done outside of their door. They're synchronizing perfectly with the swings from Christopher on that grapple hook to use that enhanced ability they all get from the Lucio, and just generally in their character kits to get in the faces of Italy and shut them down. They're going all over again. Self-destruct, they're keeping him out of the spawn room, and Smex is going to pick up Carnifex with the explosive. Christopher was hacked temporarily. He's on a 10-player kill streak. I don't think it's doing too much harm to him. 70%, maybe 1 or 2 more fights left for Team Italy. They need to get out of their spawn room.
They've been relying so heavily on getting some ultimates online, and they're about to hit that critical mass. If they get a big EMP off here, they can win this fight against the UK. It's these shields for Christopher that are so problematic.
He nearly went down there, but he's got so much sustain. The Transcendence from Boombox is going to keep him alive. Self-destruct up in the air. Dragon Age taking out Mikey A, so they have a little bit of flexibility with their more mobile heroes. They're pressing against the UK. Arrogance has been their hubris as they go to look to turn this back around, and a hack on the Christopher will stop him flying away. There should be another kill. The flip's coming out for Italy.
Italy in a good spot here as well with a couple of big ultimates they can make use of. The sound barrier for the defensive side of things, and they've got Carnifex with that EMP if they want to go all in. Midna, worst comes to worst, also has the Primal Rage if they want to stall out on this point with that huge health pool and the potential disruption around the well itself. That's available to them. The UK, the only ult they're really looking at right now is Cruz with that sound barrier.
That's such an unfortunate thing for Christopher there. He gets stunned by Heartbeat and then immediately hacked by Carnifex. He's got nothing to do on that Wrecking Ball. If Italy lose one fight, that's it. UK will take the round and take the map. Heartbeat making sure it doesn't happen with D-Net onto Smex. Midna already popping the Primal Rage. Let's make sure they don't get onto the point. Wrecking Ball coming in. Mocked up again, I believe. The self-destruct is going up high. Carnifex will take out Christopher. Self-destruct not finding anyone as Smex going very low to get back into that mech. Dragon Age with a boot kill onto Mikey A as Midna's just spraying down the lights onto the back line. Cruz not having any of it. Using the sound wave and forcing out the Transcendence for Team UK. Midna getting a lot of work done and keeping UK away from the point, but the kills are starting to flip over to the British side. They might be able to take this one back. It's not looking very good for Team Italy. They're nowhere near the point, and they need to keep this contested.
They were winning that point to begin with as well. The UK held onto their ultimates. Carnifex brings out the EMP, but immediately dropped down by Boombox. That means they get no return from this, saving that one for a little bit too long. And Nisa's getting on his Transcendence, but it's too little too late.
Just him on the point by himself. He's been knocked down by Cruz. The sound wave denying the Transcendence, and Midna goes up high to try and get over the well. They're sending in reinforcements. Heartbeat can't touch the point. It's flipped over to the UK. Overtime is ticking down. And where is the stall? Can anyone touch? It's on Dragon Eddie to buy more time for his team. And he's been booped down the well using the environmentals they did on the previous round. As Carnifex is going to come in from stealth. They've taken out Bim. They still haven't got rid of the Sombra. Finding with that kill, they might be able to pull it away as a Goomba Stomp takes out Midna. Here comes Heartbeat with the Doomfish, just looking to buy as much time as possible, but it's inevitable. This will go over to the UK as the overtime finally hits 0. Team UK taking it.
Constant big question of how many members they can keep on throwing at the point. but very, very well played by the UK in that final fight. They had the ultimates online, but were holding on to them. And I thought for the longest time, well, they'll wait until 6 are back and then they'll start popping them. Boombox brought out the Transcendence quite early. When a couple of members were still coming back from spawn, but they said to him, right, just stall, hold out for a couple more seconds, we'll be there soon, and then we can go for the engage. And you saw what happened. The EMP was just far too late from Carnifex, couldn't shoot anything down, and the UK clean up nice and easy.
Also, you can see on your screen, just before you cut over to us, Kib got player of the game playing off-roll. So clearly this composition is working for him. He jumped onto the Winston and did a lot of work on the back line, causing some disruption for Team Italy to try and get their stuff together. But strong showing from UK. Everything's going according to plan if you're looking at this from the outside. Italy, however, their map choice could provide some comfort for them to flip this over.
As we've seen for a number of teams as well, Poland, one of the teams that sprung to mind yesterday, they can take back maps back when they've got set strategies for them, when they know what they want to do. Me and you've had a good few chats about their strategy on first point Numbani where it comes to hacking any falling supports that fall down into the alleyway. So it can give you a bit of confidence, I think. And the same will go for Italy here. They haven't been completely rolled over in every single game they've played. This is their map pick, and this is where they can go into the half one-on-one, assuming they play it properly.
We're excited to see what they pick. Hybrid map types, we typically see a lot of King's Row. That's majority pick here at the group stage. But at this particular one, a lot of Numbani and occasionally some Blizzard World if you're the Netherlands.
If you're the Netherlands. Seems to be the only team that really wants to go towards it, though, to be honest. I just want to see them find a way to shut down what the UK are throwing at them, because I don't think they expected this whole DOTE setup, as we're calling it, to come at them. All that disruption that was coming against them, even when they were playing the 3-3, they just couldn't really handle it beyond that first fight where they had the point. Outside of that, it was a constant scrap, trying to find a way to deal with it, to adapt. Nothing really worked. They never really got the big crucial EMP they were looking for across both rounds to shut down the mobility. But you're absolutely right, Trid. It's King's Row we're going into for this first one. Expect to see a lot more tank-based play, but given what the UK just rolled and threw at us, it could be anything.
Hang on a second. Italy's map choice, but you're picking the UK's home turf? I don't know if that's the wisest decision. These guys were born and bred on the streets of London. And if you go to any UK land, I can tell you that the most played map is, of course, King's Row.
Although I can tell you that London really doesn't look like this that much anymore. There's no kind of big futuristic
don't tell them that. Don't tell them that. We want the tourist money to come into our economy. You tell them London looks like that sprawling metropolis in the background, not the sometimes danky streets, but there is a little bit of historical culture on the streets of London, so maybe that's keen for some tourists. But London looks exactly like this. Don't worry about it. Come to London.
In all seriousness, though, in the UK, a lot of things that get played at LANs is things like control maps and King's Row. They're probably the two favourite maps we see teams pick out. So you're right in saying it's not just by name, it's also by nature. For most of these players, when they first started playing Overwatch since release, King's Row would have been their home turf. So expect them to have a lot of familiarity on it.
That familiarity could translate into success, but it was one of the earliest maps in Overwatch, so Italy have got plenty of playtime on this particular map. And they're on defense first. So we're going to see what they're rolling a little bit sooner. Last minute change, and Bim's going to taxi Dragon Eddie back to the point. There's looking like they're running with a pretty standard GOATS composition.
Double sniper coming out of the UK seems to be the current thinking. I imagine Kiv's going to change over to support again shortly. For Italy, the key thing for here, we spoke about this I think yesterday, and the guys mentioned it on cast earlier on today as well. Dragon Eddie had 2 grab eats on Route 66. If he can get some big eats against the UK, or even block out a number of these supports, the ults coming out of like the Hanzo or out of Kib on this Zarya, that could be their key or their ticket to winning this first point and potentially taking the whole map.
And a quick scout of what's going on. They're going to run with GOATS of their own after keeping that double sniper, so it's just an initial play, see what's going on, get the kind of the air of what's happening on King's Row before they translate into their regular composition.
It's quite tough with GOATS because the attacking team will always want to have the advantage of being able to push in and make things go to their pace. In the UK's case, you think you're a better GOATS team than Italy. Italy are forced to play GOATS because it can adapt to most situations quite well unless there's a fire on the mix. But for the UK, they're like, we can mirror this and we can win these fights. As you can see already, Mikey bringing down Binder, that's the whole shield gone.
If you've seen a lot of GOATS, you know as soon as the Reinhardt goes down, the competition is pretty much over. Mikey getting that kill means that the UK are now on the point. They're able to get that full cap and begin the payload escort section of King's Row.
It's very tough on maps like this, where as a defender on the first point, you're forced to roll out with a comp, and the attackers can say, well, let's get a bit of a scout out, see what they're rolling with, and then pick something that we know we can beat it with. And literally in one push, with 1 kill, the UK killed just the main tank alone, and Italy are forced to back away because they do not want to feed more ult charge to this comp. Not that it matters, because they're already all about to hit their ultimates anyway.
A lot of ult charge being fed into a team can create a snowball scenario. We obviously don't want that. It's going to push through this choke. Being very tanky, they want to play around the angles, keep it tight, and force the UK back. Potentially look for a spawn camp. It's Graviton Surge available from Kip. Heartbeat's been nanoed maybe just a little bit too early because there's not much to get from it. Because if Italy can play around the terrain, so can the UK in this scenario. They're just going to play off, wait for it to expire, move forward. Christopher on that front line, pushing forward against them.
Nisa wasting the nano boost a bit there, really. There was no big fight going on. It was just meant to be a kind of half engage, I think, that never really came to be. Now the UK can push back in. A huge shadow comes down and catches out 4.
Multiple members on the back line are sitting on their bums as Min's going to charge through onto Boombox and deny a Transcendence. That could be big for Italy. They can capitalize with the self-destruct and the charge comes through. Christopher doing the work for the UK. Should seal the deal here and keep that payload in motion.
It's one thing we're seeing teams start to do very, very well on the defensive side when they get caught in this kind of combo where you have the Graviton Surge and the self-destruct coming through, is they save the Zarya bubbles until that self-destruct is about to go off. It does keep most of the members alive, but more often than not, most teams will still lose out on their main tank, and as you saw there, the Brigitte followed through as well. In a 4 versus 6, chances are you're still going to lose that fight.
They're going to swap over Mikey A and Cruz onto the point. He's going to be on the back, making sure he can push that forward. As the UK were looking to support aggression. Smex playing in that high ground rafter, very forward against him. He's been spotted out by Italy. They know where he is. They're going to send Dragon Eddie up there to try and deal with him. Christopher got that Earth Shatter, but there's a lot of aggression. Stunned up, locked up, and Nisa's going to take him out. This Graviton Surge from Heartbeat. They're moving in with a self-destruct as well with no shield. Dragon Eddie surely gets a kill. It's going to be Kib biting the dust as the rest of Italy funnels through the UK and pushes them off the payload, finally stopping their unstoppable force.
That's the kind of initiation I wanted to see from Italy. Reinhardt going forward with the Brigitte, getting the stun down onto the tank and making sure that Chris died sharpish. Admittedly, for the rest of the UK, they were struggling to keep the heals going on to Chris because they were too busy playing back behind the corner in case the grab did come through. So although they were forced back and they lost the main tank, it did force Italy to burn a few ultimates. The UK can now push back in, at least with their Shatter, and they're not too far away from having that rally and the Graviton Surge online.
Big combos coming up for the UK. They might not need to use them depending on how well they play this fight. They're sending Chris forward, going very low as you'd expect. The Discord and Harmony both on that main tank to show how much important this is. Stun into an Earth Shatter. Should be able to clean them up, but the sound barrier comes out, countered by a Transcendence from Team Italy. But this UK on the back foot. They're just acceding to the aggression of Team Italy. But this UK flipping it around, they want them exactly where they are so they can get the damage out, kill them from the terrain, and make sure they push this payload to the next checkpoint.
Yeah, Italy were kind of stretched in there. Minna got a charge through, trying to push some of the members of the UK back, but instead found himself in a 1 versus 6 in the back line. And yes, they had the Transcendence to back him up as well, but burning that just to try and keep a tank alive who's in the very, very far back. Maybe not the best use of it there, so a bit over-aggressive from Italy. The previous fight was great for them. This one, maybe a little bit too much, and the UK capitalise on those mistakes.
Still holding on to Christopher's Shatter. They've got themselves the rally pop by Carnifex to top up the armor before they go to this engagement. Stun Shatter combo, perfect from Team UK. Gonna have a sound barrier come out to stop the flow of casualties after Minna has been dropped. Self-destruct over the top. There's the Transcendence and a nice bit of shielding to keep them alive. Now they're gonna throw their own Graviton Surge into the mix. They don't need no bomb. They can do it by putting manual targeting to the test. Mikey A gonna move that payload further and further to victory.
And this is the kind of thing that's going to really differentiate whether or not France or UK win their series later, will be how they handle these Graviton Surge combos. The UK there, using the shields from Mikey A, they had the Transcendence from the Exposed then as well to make sure he lived. Not a single member went down in that whole combo.
Holding the terrain, holding the corner, it's what you expect. We've seen plenty of it so far on this map. Christopher nearly got that Earth Shadow again, just needs himself, Mikey A, to come in, get that stun onto Midna, and it opens up Italy to a huge, fatty Shatty. Gonna throw it down. He's gonna kill Midna with the damage alone, forcing out a trans from Nisa to keep the rest of the team alive. Self-destruct from Smex. Gonna take out Heartbeat as Bims moves onto the payload, but he's still got Dragon Eddie on the high ground. He needs to go down. Now he's dislodged, sending the self-destruct up high. The team is split, but they can still shield away from it. Kib will kill the Exposed Diva, and the UK complete King's Row.
About a minute and a half to 2 minutes in the time bank there as well. Not the quickest push that we've seen, but still a convincing one that got them all the way to the end. Now Italy, it's their time to shine and show us what else they've got. 2 minutes 36, or was a minute completely off from that one. Pretty healthy then, can't complain.
Pretty healthy, solid resistance from Italy, especially in the streets phase. They caught Christopher off guard with a nice stun and burst damage combination and enabled them to push the UK back. And I think that was the only solid resistance we saw, where they actually effectively wiped Team UK or forced a full reset. Other than that, they're pushing into Team UK, and they may take a casualty, but they're able to play around that fact and almost coax Italy into a full sense of security, and then slam the trap on them, get a couple of kills, and go straight back to that payload.
The thing is, Italy know as well that UK is playing very confidently the way they're pushing forward and being very aggressive. They punished that one just short of the second point where they managed to catch Chris completely alone from his healers, drop him down before any healing could come through, and from there got the Graviton Surge down, got the full combo in, and they wiped Team UK out with probably the most decisive fight we've seen them pull out so far. The problem now is we need to see that become consistent. You can't afford to do that once per map. It needs to be something you're doing 2, 3, maybe 4 times over when it comes to fights around these points if you want to deny the UK getting these kind of full pushes through.
UK is not flawless. We can spot a couple of mistakes they're making. It's just that that was the only one Italy seemed to capitalize on. If they can up that rate, definitely they can start taking more of this map to them. Symmetra coming out for Smex. Don't think he's going to stay on that one. Plenty of time for him to go and change. Yeah, I think he's running back to the spawn room now. He's going to have his teammate Cruz taxi him back to the point.
That's interesting. So what they've done there actually is teleport him across without any way of the enemy team Italy seeing him move through into Hotel. His plan here, I imagine, is to get a charge straight through. This is the kind of thing that you're seeing competitive play, where you go for a charge from Hotel through as they push in, try and pick out the Ryan, and then suddenly the whole attack is shut down for another 20 seconds or so. Genius sort of setup. Now to see if it works and pays off.
I love having you here, Des, because I completely missed that's what they did. I just thought they were just trolling with Symmetra. But no, they have a plan, they have a strategy.
They're watching, they might know.
They look around, they don't think they saw him. Now they spotted him out, he's going in, he's going to get stunned. Christopher used that protective barrier to keep him alive. They want to try and separate him away from Team UK, but he still manages to get behind the gate, and UK come out storming. They're providing reinforcements, they're not going to leave a man behind as they bring Christopher safely back into the fold.
Ideal situation there would have been Eddie immediately charging to the 5 supportive members of United Kingdom running towards him. Chris should have been hard punished there as soon as he got spotted and charged down by the Brigitte, but was instead, as you say, able to get back into his team, and now the game just resumes as normal.
They're just holding the choke. It's the perfect whip for a Reinhardt barrier. You may as well if you're going to go for the tank-heavy compositions. Will it force a change-up from Italy, or the United Kingdom eventually lose the steam to maintain?
And already the ult's coming online, some of the supports. Boombot's got that coalescence, and on the other side you've got Nisa with the Transcendence. Out it comes.
Huge shatter, answering with the Transcendence, Heartbeat charged against the wall, but a protective barrier stops the final blow from coming in. The rally up is there, and they're moving back. Team UK topping up all their resistances. They go into the next fight. Carnifex about to get his own rally. Graviton Surge, bit of a swing and a miss for Team UK. Italy should read that and go, right, now's our time to get in and fight. Mid, they're locked up, and protective barrier keeps him alive. Sound barrier for the rest of them. There's their own Graviton Surge. No kills coming through for the time being, but Christopher goes down low for Heartbeat to kill, and the rest of Team Italy are now taking it to Team UK.
Still trying to roll forward. Doesn't matter what the United Kingdom are throwing at this one. Italy have dismantled the United Kingdom and taken this first point in a minute and a half. You would not complain with that if you knew this was the kind of push they would get on the first point, Tris.
Now they're keeping them away from the payload. They don't want them to contest it. The UK definitely doesn't want to lose control right now. 4 minutes 45 on the clock. And Italy are going to start the escort section as they're taking the fight still to UK. Self-destruct on the back line. Heartbeat mistiming that bomb. Or mistiming the barrier. Mid, they're going to answer the call onto Christopher. He's going incredibly low, but the healing is there from Carnifex and fellow support. Still on critical. Transcendence pushing through the gate. They want to breach into the UK and make sure they have zero chance of staying alive in this fight. As Carnifex picks up another kill onto Mikey A, and they've created themselves a nice path. If only Smex wasn't playing spoiler.
Playing spoiler on the point, just trying to waste a bit of time here as well, make it even harder for them to push further forward. The rest of the team, though, they pulled all the way back. They're going to wait for him to come back up before they go for the contest. It does mean that first choke under the archway is now out of the way. Next one's probably going to come between those two buildings on the right-hand side of your screen.
UK going to regroup. They've got plenty of time to play with, like I said, the 2-minute 36 time back on the other side. It's going to be big for them.
The sneaky Kib is the deadliest. The notorious KYB with the Grav Surge online. Now, the real question is just how hungry is Dragon Eddie?
Well, if Dragon Eddie's not in the restaurant, how is he going to chow down? He was leaving the team a little bit, and they now know where he is. He's trying to bait it out with the right click to make sure Dragon Eddie uses the defense matrix early, because the animation is very similar. He's going to hold on to it, puts it onto the drain. No way to eat that as they're pulled in. They just find Hearthstone, get in there against the wall. The rest of the team able to separate. So not too many casualties coming in, but Heartbeat, of course, will drop as they force on the Team Italy. Stunned up mid, no shield for you, Team UK, pushing Italy back into the spawn area.
I know full well chat caught out what you said there. He may be called Heartbeat, but Hearthstone also feels pretty apt. He was the only one who got caught, but he kept hold of his ult. That is retained for Italy. They can use this in their next engage. Biggest problem here, though, is they might just find themselves getting spawn camped in. We've seen a number of teams do this, where it's so hard to get out because the exit gateways are so small. But Italy have sped completely past them now. They've still got the Zed trapped in spawn, though, so this is a 5 versus 6.
Oh no, the UK are completely wrapped around them, but they're trapped by Graviton Surge. Heartbeat doing the work, but Snex with the camera kill onto Nisa, and they're going to push Italy further back, but they're taking the payload with them. UK don't want to be in this position. They can't contest it. They're losing so much ground. They need to get these kills faster and make sure they push it back. Mikey A going to be the man to do it.
Nisa was literally left in spawn the whole time. He was like, guys, if I step out here, I'm going to die. Like, good luck. You are literally 5 versus 6 in all of this. And it does mean the members will get staggered out. They'll get pushed back. If Dragon Eddie dies here and gets demexed and slowly killed out, that can be crucial to UK slowing this down even more. There's 2.5 minutes left on the clock. Italy is still ready to go with their ultimates, only now they're without the Graviton Surge.
He did manage to get away. Dragon Eddie still escaping. Sneak Fever, Midna, with that Earth Shatter. Graviton Surge going to pull him together. Might not want to go for the counter as the self-destruct comes behind. Shielding is there to protect Italy. They're getting very good at protecting this, but Midna with the Flame Strike out of nowhere, taking out Mikey A. He's got Nerve Shadow to go, goes to the side, multiple members knocked down, they want to push forward. Shielding is there, but Dragon Eddie still finds Cruz. Midler looking to the side. Christopher escapes with a charge of his own. Italy coming up with an advantage here. That might be enough to get checkpoint B.
Yeah, Chris stepping up to the wrong side there. All members of his team were off to the left. He stepped to the right. And well, if you're in Minder's shoes and you have an Earth Shatter, it's an A or B scenario. Where do you go? I'll go towards the side without the shield and 4 exposed members. Thank you very much. Vex maybe trying to play spoiler a little bit there, but still, Italy find themselves on the 3rd point, 30 seconds behind the UK's current time bank, and they've got a couple of big ultimates coming online. They've got that Graviton Surge with the self-destruct to potentially upset the UK and even out the time banks.
Heartbeat looking to get that charge built up. Like I said, Des very close for that Graviton Surge. Kib not too far behind him though, he's about 10% away. Heartbeat is about to get it online right now, so will they pull the trigger early, assuming they know how the state of play with the ultimates is. Trying to look for the right opportunity, plays it on the corner. Pulls the UK together, self-destruct up high, everyone has to hide behind the shield, still managing to find Christopher. He couldn't react to it well enough, so without a Reinhardt, it opened up so much space for Team Italy to push forward.
I think they were hoping to get the self-destruct off the high ground there onto the low, but it was more than enough to catch Chris once he got charged off to the side by Midna. Italy the one still in control here, but the UK going to the other gate. They're not prepared for this right now, so they might catch them off guard.
They're trying to move through as fast as they can. Mikey A's going to pop the rally, make sure everyone's alive. Christopher's knocked off the edge by Carnifex. He's having a bad day today because this Brigitte is taking it to him. Transcendence being used. He's counteracting the Graviton Surge. Rally from Mikey A. Even everyone topped up this cruise with the Soundwave kill onto Bim. Self-destruct available there for them, but the shield is good. They're trying to push Midna off the edge of the map. Throws down the Earth Shadow. I don't think anyone got caught off by that. Nice boot from Cruz. Going to set Heartbeat flying, and they're going to move back against them. They've still got plenty of time to take this to the checkpoint, but I don't think they're going to get it in this push.
By the looks of it, no, it looks like the UK will stop them there, but there's still 1 minute 40 to play with. 100 seconds to try and complete. Both sides currently depleted of ultimates, a few coming back online. But that's a good few victims now, Trid, who have fell to the environmental kills thanks to Boops and, of course, the rocket flails coming out of the Brigittes.
Got to use 100% of your kit, and if that option's available to you, you've got to take it then. Just got to.
Hoping to try and get themselves on the push on the go here. Chris not too far away from his own shadow this time round, only 6% to go. More a case of trying to play those mind games with the shields, relying a lot on your Brigittes to get the stuns down onto the front line for either side. Italy, though, they're about to hit 5 ultimates online. The UK still have none.
Interesting time to stun there. Graviton Surge going to pull them together. Self-destruct goes over the top. A lot of low members on Team UK. Dragon Eddie finds the double onto Christopher and Cruz, pushing this down onto the home stretch. There's no one from the UK to pass any resistance. The time back is whittling down, but they have spawn advantage. They're stalling out, using the Transcendence, buying time for the fast respawns and change to come through for Team UK. Huge shadow from Midna, denying the reinforcements as quickly as they can, but UK still find a way to get back onto the point. Shadow of their own, asked by Transcendence. Midna, you're off the side of the map, my friend. What are you doing? As Mikey A guarantees he's falling to his death, and UK still find a way to put a resistance out.
That kill on Sabinu is the big one in this one now because they can't afford to stand and go toe-to-toe with the UK shield lineup. It was a beautiful boot. Even with the Transcendence live, that will not save you from an environmental kill. And the UK hold on once again. There is 15 seconds left. Italy, this is all or nothing now to push it to try and equalize this map out, but it's a tall order, Trid.
10 seconds. They've got a grab surge. Midna going to find a sneaky path with the Wrecking, but wants to knock through them. The Graviton Surge not going to hold it unless Kib finds a creative angle. Needs to be very clever about what he does with this one. Dragon Eddie pushing forward with the defense matrix. They know as they're taking it to the UK. They're pulling them all together. This could be big for Team Italy. They're all not able to touch to the point. They need a couple of seconds. The huge
They've done it!
Italy managed to capture it with creative use of their abilities.
As soon as that grab surge went down, you know they were saying to themselves, checkmate UK, we've got you cornered here. There is no way you touch this point. The wrecking ball was just a bait. They didn't even need to use it. It was all about the grab surge, catching the members out and forcing them all into a corner. Beautiful play from Italy to clutch it in the dying seconds. The problem they now face is that UK get their turn at attacking, and there is 2 minutes 36 on that clock.
To get 33% of the point, there's Italy had to do it in overtime, so still a big win for the UK here. It looks very likely they'll be able to take this away with a second attempt. But Italy not ready to roll over yet, forcing out that final bit of effort from the UK. They want to take them to their limit, maybe tire them out for this French crowd, so when it comes to that final game of the day, they're already at peak stress levels.
And it's like we were saying at the very start of the series. For teams like Italy and other teams we've seen over the weekend, such as Poland, for example, a lot of it comes down to just surprising these teams that, on paper, will probably take the series away quite convincingly. If you can surprise them, you can still manage to upset them, take maps away from them, maybe get further in a map than maybe the enemy team expected you to do so in the first place. The only problem they're doing here is, like I said earlier on, rolling out with a 3-3. The UK will know fully what to expect, and in that mirror matchup, they'll be incredibly confident.
I think the UK does win the mirror matchup when it comes to GOATs in this scenario, especially against Italy. It's creativity, if you can pull it out, might be your answer to take some maps off the UK, but they're going to run GOATs into GOATs. Kick things off, I think Boombox just having a scout with the Widowmaker will change off of that. Probably what we'll do is hand it to Zenyatta, keep the flow going.
Pushing their way in. As you said, the mirror match probably does favour the UK, but again, it's a catch-22 for Italy as well, where you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You don't take it, you get a direct counter to your comp, and 3-3. Generally a pretty good all-rounder. You play as a cohesive unit and stay together. Make sure that no one gets picked up on their own as a Widowmaker, for example. You've got to try and face up against the UK, who so far on this map have looked like the stronger GOATs team. They're
pushing into the UK. Specs have to move, not be able to get some damage resistance from the defensive matrix out. He's pushing back behind his team. They're playing a lot around Mondata at the moment, looking for an edge in this fight.
Still trying to find a big opening here for either side. It's all whoever makes the first mistake. When does a barrier get used at the wrong time? When is Brigitte stunned down on cooldown? They almost catch Minder there, but the counter comes through. Beautiful from Italy to cushion that and immediately respond with a quick kill onto Christopher.
They can protect their own Reinhardt, and then they turn it back around on the UK, forcing them out and looking for a reset. Said UK, they want to trade here, but if you're not taking someone with you and utilizing your spawn advantage, you're missing out here and you're not going to get anything done.
Now the ultimates are all starting to come online for both sides. This is where the dynamic of 3-3 changes to who can get the bigger utility combo off. First thing being launched is Nisa with the Coalescence, but there's plenty more to come in this fight.
Harpy's already taken out Mikey Ace, they're missing their Brigitte, they can't get the stun, so they're going to have to do the shatter without the assistance of a Brigitte, which is very hard. Harpy also sitting on that Graviton Surge for the next fight.
The UK are in a great spot here, though, where they know that they had 2.5 minutes to play with. That is plenty of time to get all of your ultimates online, and this is what you play for. You play for that critical mass. And for Italy, the problem they are facing is they're running the Moira, they're not running the Zen. That Transcendence could have been the big saver for them, and the UK have that in spades with Boombox with the Transcendence online. Christopher's about to get his Earth Shatter. This should be the big push we're looking for.
6v6 on the Automates. What's going to happen? Heartbeat stunned up. There's a Shatter coming out from mid. He's going to put it into the middle of him. Will find him. Christopher with a counter Shatter. Here comes the self-destruct. Not going to find anyone. Transcendence coming in.
Counter.
They're swinging the hammer. The rally is there from Carnifex to keep everyone topped up, but the kills are going in favor of the UK. Christopher taking out Minder. Mikey A following up on the Carnifex, and Kim taking out Heartbeat. That's going to be the UK going into the half. 2-0 up.
Very, very difficult to stop a 6-stack ultimate combo from any team. It doesn't matter who it might be. 6 ultimates, they're called ultimate for a reason. When you put them together, they have grand impact.
UK not looking too happy with that result. I don't think they wanted to be taken to another attempt on King's Row. We've seen a lot in the previous days. Very smiley, happy faces when they're getting the results they want. I think they're not happy with that result for the time being, but still 2 more maps to play, Des.
It's a good opportunity as well, a learning experience that they need to adapt to these surprises that they're seeing coming in. And I don't think they can be super disappointed with that. They played it as they should have done, especially when it came to the overtime push with those 6 ultimates. But Italy is showing that, you know, you can still almost take maps away from these big teams.
And very close to doing so themselves. Like I said, got it down into those final minute of time, burning through the UK's time bank, or at least the majority of it. So they are capable. They just need that little extra to push over the edge.
Just a little bit more. And I think, again, even though that was their map pick as well, it's a map that the UK were familiar with. So maybe when it comes onto the 3rd map, they've got another surprise waiting in store. Again, we've seen teams pull out surprises on maps that teams just aren't ready for. That's what they keep on playing for, because things like that final push for them on the 3rd point, with the Graviton Surge to lock them in place, that's what they needed to cleanse out the 3rd point. If they can do that 2 or 3 times a map, suddenly you find yourself in a situation where, wow, we've completed a map and we've managed to hold the other team back. That's a win on our side, your confidence grows. It's unlikely it's going to go to a 5th map in this case, where Italy win the next 2. but crazier things have happened in Overwatch. That's the beauty of this esport.
Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to look at what map number 3 is, so don't go anywhere.